Okay, last topic natin or last topic for lesson 2 is continuous compounding and discrete payments. Okay, what is continuous compounding? Continuous compounding can be thought of as a limiting case of multiple compounding situations. Ano yung multiple compounding? We have discussed this before. Pag multiple compounding, so in 1 year, so in terms of payment, no, for example, pag sinabi nila na na 10 years ay 10% yung rate of interest per year, pero compounded quarterly, for example. So in terms of payment, you're going to pay 4 times a year, no, at the end of each quarter, or pwedeng end or in the middle of depende sa agreement, ano, basta 4 times a year ka mag bayad, no, from the payers, no, viewpoint. Okay, so yung 10% na nominal rate of interest 1 year yan, i-distribute yan quarterly, so throughout the year, no, 4 times i-distribute yan. Okay, so pwede rin semi-annual, pwede rin monthly. That's multiple compounding. Sa continuous compounding, it would be distributed. Okay, so holding the nominal rate fixed and letting the number of interest periods become infinite. So hindi siya semi-annual, hindi siya monthly, hindi siya quarterly, but infinitely distributed all throughout the year. Or we call that continuously distributed all throughout the year, no? While the length of each interest periods becomes infinitesimally small. Now, the derivation of the formula for continuous compounding is quite similar to what I have shown you before dun sa compound interest. No, I will no longer discuss that dito sa video, nasa module na yon, para hindi masyadong mahaba yung video natin. Okay, so ito yung formula natin to solve for the future and present amount or value of a certain investment or money. Ito. Okay, so please look at your modules na lang for further explanations. Now, discrete payments parang similar din yan sa multiple compounding. Ang kwan lang yan is from the sa multiple compounding kasi is from a different perspective. Dun discrete payment naman is from the perspective of the payer, yung nagbabayad. Okay, multiple compounding din dan actually yung discrete. So in discrete compounding, the interest is compounded at the end of each finite length. So finite, so infinite, just like continuous compounding. Okay, such as monthly or quarter or semi-annual. So there is a finite period. Okay, yung interest periods natin is finite, hindi siya infinite, just like continuous compounding. Okay, so yun lang naman. So in continuous compounding, it is assumed that cash payments occur once per year. So 1 year yung payment. Okay, but the compounding is continuous throughout the year. Okay, so sa discrete kasi or sa multiple compounding, you pay at the end of each period. Kung quarterly, after each quarter. Kung semi-annual, after 6 months, ganun. Or kung monthly, after 1 month, after each month. Okay, so sa continuous compounding, you pay at the end of the year, but the interest, it would be compounded continuously. So medyo mas malaki yung interest na babayaran mo kapag continuous compounding yung ginamit to compute for the interest of whatever investment or loan you have taken. Okay, so yun lang. So apply natin yung concept ng continuous compounding. Let's try to solve the first problem in your module. So savings bank offers long-term savings certificates at 7.5% per year, compounded continuously. If a 10-year certificate cost 50,000, what will be its value at maturity? So when we say maturity, after 10 years, yun ang nandun sa kontrata. Compare with the value that would be obtained if the interest were compounded annually rather than continuously. Okay? So what would be, so may mga sa mga bangko, sometimes they offer mga saving certificate. So magde-deposit ka ng certain amount, gagawin nilang fix yung kikitain niyang pera for each year. In this case, we have 7.5%. So iwan mo lang doon, makukuha mo yung principal plus the interest after 10 years. So makukuha mo siya. So parang nag-invest ka na rin, no? Depende kung gaano kalaki yung percentage, yung interest. Okay, so let's solve for the first condition. So what would be the future amount of 50,000 if it is compounded continuously after 10 years? F is equal to P raised to N. So we have the present worth is 50,000. E, R is equal to yung rate natin per year is 7.5%, should be in decimal form 0.075 times N. Ilang years yan? That's 10 years. Okay, so the future amount of the certificate you have bought at 50,000 is equal to 105,850. Okay. So yan yung amount, more than double, no, kapag continuous compounding. Malaki. So after 10 years. Letter B, kapag compounded annually. So if it is compounded annually, the future amount is equal to P times 1 plus I raised to N. So F is equal to 50,000. 1. The interest is 7.5% annually yung compounding. So we don't need to divide that to any number. Kasi annual naman yung compounding, so that is 0.075 raised to N. That's N is 10 years, so that is equivalent to 103,000, 051.5781 pesos. Yan. So if you compare the two, mas malaki kapag continuous. Okay, mas advantageous yan kapag nag-invest ka. Pero kapag umutang ka, mas maganda kapag annually na lang yung compounding. Pero kapag nag-invest ka, of course, mas maganda kapag continuous yung compounding. Mas malaki na nga ba ng more than 2,000 yung makukuha mong value or amount after 10 years. So that would be dependent on which perspective. Okay, kung anong perspective, kung ikaw yung umutang or o kung nag-invest ka. For in this case, parang nag-invest ka sa bangko, no? Bumili ka ng 50,000 certificate. Okay? So that's it. Let's try to solve the next problem. Okay, number 2. Compare the accumulated amounts after 5 years of 1,000 invested at the rate of 10% per year, compounded, dami na ito, annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, daily, and continuously. And we'll see the results kung ilan yung mga differences nila later on. So letter A, what is the future amount of yung investment natin na 1,000 after 5 years if it is compounded annually? So F is equal to, so we have 1,000. Present value natin is 1,001 plus interest is 10% in decimal form, and is 5 years, so 5. So F, the future amount is equal to 1,000 610.51 if compounded annually. Letter B, if it is compounded semi-annual. Pag sinabing semi twice. Okay? Twice a year at the end of 6 months. So we have the future amount of the investment after 5 years at 10% compounded semi-annually. We have 1,000 1 plus, so pag semi-annual kasi yung 10% natin per year yan, since semi-annual, distribute natin depende sa number of compounding in a year. So in this case semi, dalawa, so divide natin sa dalawa 2 yung rate of interest natin per year na 10,000, so 10,000 divided by 2 times 10,000, 10% divided by 2. Ang sabi ko. So that's 0.05 raised to n. So n would be the number of parang payments, no? If you pay at the end of each of 6 months for every year, so kung 5 years yan, so twice a year, ibig sabihin the number of payments, the number of times you're going to pay is 10, no? 10 times 5 years, twice a year, so 10 yung number, yung n natin dito. So F is equal to 1,628. Okay. Ito. Letter C, if it is compounded quarterly. So since quarterly yan, we distribute natin yung nominal rate natin na 10% all throughout the year, quarterly yung distribution natin. So we divide it by 4. So 0.1 over 4. So 5 years, multiply natin to 4. So that is equal to 20. So the future amount of our investment after 5 years is equal to 1,638.62. Okay. So yung value niya if compounded quarterly. Next, compounded monthly. So F is equal to, so 1,000 1 plus, so monthly, we have 12 months in a year, distribute natin ulit yung 10%, 12 months, so we divide it by 12, so 0.1 divided by 12 raised to, so we have 5 times 12, that is equivalent to 60. So the future amount of our investment, if compounded monthly, is 1,645.31 pesos. Ayan, palaki ng palaki. Letter E, daily. Okay, daily. So we have 1,000, 1 P plus, so we have, i-distribute natin yung 10% ulit all throughout the years. In this case, the distribution is daily. So 0.1 or 10%. So divide natin. How many days in 1 year? We have 365 days. So, hindi naman sinabing leap year, so assume natin na normal na taon yan. 365 days. Then we multiply 365 to 5 years. So since daily yung compounding natin, so that we have 1,825. So that's equivalent to 1648.61. Okay. Yeah. Then lastly, kapag continuous yung compounding, so it's equal to we have 1,000 E raised to R. Rate natin per year is 10%, and we have 5 years. So F is equal to 1,648.72. Okay. Yeah. So you try to compare the future values at different compounding. So the highest would be, of course, yung continuous compounding. Okay, ito yung pinakamataas. So kung investment yan, piliin mo yung continuous. Pero pag utang, piliin mo na lang yung annual compounding. Okay, so that's it. That's it. So see you sa next lesson.